The top 10 reasons marriages end in divorce. That's what we're going to be talking about today. You know, divorce is not something that I would wish on my worst enemy. I know we think that can just happen so cheaply and freely today because our society, for some reason, has made divorce so accessible. You know, divorce courts are smashing marriage covenants every day. There's now no cost divorces. People can go and just end 10, 15, 20 years of an investment in a relationship that started off with two people believing that forever was going to be the deal. And for whatever reason, marriage didn't last. And I know many couples that are watching me right now has experienced the pain of a divorce. According to therapists, divorce can feel just like a death, because really and truly it is. God hates divorce. While I know things happen that cause divorces to happen, divorce is not God's will. It's not God's plan for our lives, our relationships, our marriages. I believe every marriage can be repaired. Any marriage can be restored. I believe that with the right tools, with the right information, a marriage that's on the rocks, a marriage that has been crumbling, can be saved. I'm telling you. And in this video, I want to talk to you about the 10 reasons why marriages end in divorce. And the first thing I want to let you know is that all of these reasons, no matter how you feel, all of these reasons are preventable. Okay? All of these reasons are preventable. They are fixable. And they are all repairable only if both partners are willing to do the work to repair and mutually have made a decision in their heart that divorce is not an option. Okay? Divorce is not an option. One of the things my wife and I have confessed out of our mouths together is that no matter how hard things get in our relationship, divorce will not be an option. And the minute we began to confess that, every time things get rocky, we're not thinking about how we can get out of the relationship, how we can call it quits. We're thinking about, well, because I ain't going nowhere, you ain't going nowhere, let's figure this thing out. And couples that make that confession, divorce is not an option, they stick through it and they make things work for the benefit of both partners. All right? Marriage is for two givers and two forgivers. Marriage is for two givers and two forgivers. It takes two people to stay happily married. If one person calls it quits, the marriage is over. It takes two people to stay in a marriage. You can be married and one person has checked out. If that person is gone, the marriage is over, because a marriage is a covenant between you, another person, and God. Okay? So, but if two people are willing to forgive each other and are willing to give each other what they need to meet each other's need emotionally, mentally, physically, if we both are willing to meet each other's need mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, okay, whatever it takes to make my partner satisfied in this relationship, this marriage, a marriage can be saved. Are you with me? All right. So I know you didn't get married to divorce, right? You want if you spent $20,000, $50,000, whatever you spent on your wedding, I know you didn't spend that just so that you can call it quits. All right. But I know it happens. And I want to tell you what the top 10 reasons why marriages end in divorce. Okay. And this is statistics. This is based off of actual research and data. These are the top 10 reasons why. And I want you to think about how, if one of these reasons are eating away in your marriage right now, I want you to think about what you can possibly do today to begin to help restore your marriage. It's amazing how so many people let yesterday eat away from the joy of today. You know, we let the pain of the past corrupt the joy of a future that we can create if we don't learn how to forget the past, work on the issues, and grow together so that we can stay happy together. Okay? You can do it, but it just takes some intentionality. All right, so let me just go down the list. Here's number 10. Different parenting styles. Different parenting styles. You know, a lot of marriages end over conflict that happens the way that one parent wants to train or raise their child or even correct their child. You know, you might have one person who wants to be a disciplinarian when it comes to correction, when another person is more of an enabler. You might have one spouse who doesn't believe in beatings, right? Like actual getting a belt or paddle or whatever and beating their child. And another spouse feels like, you know, you're letting his child get spoiled. And it creates a lot of tension if both persons are not willing to find a mutual ground of understanding to say, hey, this is why I don't want to beat my child. And this other person says, well, this is why I do. And we got to figure out, how can we find a middle ground in terms of how we're going to discipline our kids, how we're going to raise our kids, where the places that we're going to like, what are we going to want to expose them? All right. Parenting styles are so important. Even religion, right? Some spiritual backgrounds. One of you might not have been religious or spiritual, and the other person had a spiritual upbringing. And when you guys met, maybe you guys were not going to church together or worshiping. But now that you have children, one spouse might say, I want my child in church, or I want my child in the mosque, that way I was raised. And the other partner will say, well, I don't want my child connected to that. Then you're going to have a big problem. Okay? This is why premarital counseling is so important, because in premarital counseling, a good premarital counselor would have made sure that you would have walked through and talked through all of those things prior to getting married, so you won't be surprised by it today. Okay? So that's the 10th reason. Number 9, substance abuse. The 9th top reason why marriages end in divorce is substance abuse. Substance abuse. Someone is sneaking, getting into drugs, and along with drugs, you know that there's so much hiding, lying that goes behind that. Stealing money, keeping money out of the home, just so that you can get into your habit or your addiction, whether it's alcohol, whether it's cigarettes, it could be cocaine, whatever it is. Okay, substance abuse is a massive reason why a lot of couples today are our marriages are ending in divorce. Okay, if you're battling with a substance abuse addiction, you need to get help. Okay, don't hide this from your family. Don't hide this from your spouse. And another thing is, it's important that you as a spouse realize that it's not your job to fix or to heal a person who you're with that has a substance abuse. It's very hard to truly hold that person accountable to the extent of help that they need if they're only trying to rely on you to help fix them. You got to actually get that person professional help, where somebody who can help take them through the steps and the process they need to be fully clean and to be fully fixed. Okay? So that's substance abuse. Here's number 8. Number 8. Many of you probably would have said this is the top reason why. I'm sorry. No. Here's number 8. I got the words confused. Number 8 is infertility. Infertility. Basically, this is when a partner or the two of you cannot have kids. When a couple gets together, their dream and their vision is to have a family together, and when a couple just can't seem to conceive, you're in the bedroom, you're trying, and nothing is working. All right, this has caused much pain in a lot of marriages. The wife feels that she can't give her husband a son, and she doesn't feel like she is complete as a woman because she wasn't able to give birth, or vice versa. The husband feels like this is a lost cause. Nothing seems to work. There's a lot of pain there, and so if you've ever been down that road, I know it's challenging. But you guys need to figure out a solution. Pray. Pray about this. Hey, does God want us to have kids? Does He want us to adopt children? And are we open to adopting? This is not a reason why you should divorce and end our marriage. Okay? So I want you to think about maybe the good Lord, higher power, whatever you want to identify your creator as, maybe He has a different route for you to take. Okay? So I want you to think about that. Number 7, domestic violence. Domestic violence. I believe that anyone, if you're in a relationship, male or female, and you're getting abused by your partner. See, there are women who get abused by men. We know that. Many of us know that. May have grown up around that and seen that. Or maybe you might be in a relationship right now where you're being abused. I don't tolerate abuse of any kind. But there are also men who are being domestically abused by their wives, that they are also not protected or ashamed to come out and say that. So it happens to both males and females. And abuse is not love. Abuse is not love. You should not be in any situation where the safety of your life, the safety of your mentality, the safety in your well-being is in jeopardy because of a violent, out of control, immature man or woman who wants to feel better about themselves by putting you down, beating you down, and making you feel like you are less of a man or less of a woman. You should not tolerate that. You should not put up with it. And if I were you in a situation like that, I would leave until that person goes and gets help. Until they know that they cannot walk over you and do what they did to you and get away with it. Okay, sometimes I don't believe that the domestic violence is an ultimate reason for a person to never get back together, because sometimes, usually abusers themselves were abused and that's how they were treated. And so they treat others that way to feel like they have control. So they also need counseling and therapy and help. And so sometimes you might need to just step out the way so that they can go and get the help they need. And if they truly love you and they truly care for you and they just have this this demon that they need to get set free from, it's very possible. And I've seen relationships survive domestic abuse once a person went and got the help that they need. So it is preventable and it is repairable divorce if you go and get the help that you need. All right. And if you're an abuser, you need to stop and say to yourself, look at yourself in the mirror. Would you want somebody to do this to your son, to your daughter? Okay. And you need to go and get the help you need so that you can break the generational curse in your family too. All right. Okay. Let's go. The next one. Different life goals. Different life goals. Again, I've seen this very often where a couple got married when they were younger. Everything looked great. One person seemed to have been on a trajectory towards a certain goal. The other person was on one path, and it seemed like they complemented each other. And then maybe 6 years later, or 10 years later, or even 20 years later, different life goals. People grow. People reach a certain place in life where they say, you know what, I want something else. I want to do something more. And all of a sudden, the two no longer complement each other. And unfortunately, a couple that doesn't grow together won't stay together. I know we say a marriage, that a couple that prays together stays together, but we also need to know a couple that grows together stays together. Because if we grow apart and have two different goals, and we no longer see the same vision for our family and for each other, it can definitely lead to separation and divorce. And once again, I said I've seen this plenty of times. And it definitely can be changed. It can be fixed just by having heart-to-heart conversations with each other. Okay, so we're almost there. The next one, constant arguing. Constant arguing. And you know what we will call that in today's world? Irreconcilable differences. We just can't get along with each other. We love each other, but we fight all the time. We argue over everything. Okay? Couples like that, they end up in divorce because who wants to be in an environment where there's nothing but stress and tension and fighting? Okay, the only time we seem to love each other is when we're just doing something that we both like. All right, but you're walking on eggshells around each other. You don't know if you want to say the wrong things, because if you say the wrong thing, one person might blow up and one person might, it's just too much tension. Okay, so how can you avoid that? I say you need to get some couples therapy. You need to bring a mediator into your relationship and have someone sit down and even begin to empower you with tools to learn how to help you both communicate with each other and figure out where is the tension coming from? Where is the arguing coming from? All right? That's definitely fixable, but you have to be willing to learn that, hey, it's not the other person, it's me. I need to change. Okay? They can't always be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. You got to start with the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror. What do I need to change so that we can begin to see eye to eye? So we're almost there. Number 4, growing apart. Growing apart. once again, when couples begin to grow and change, we'll see that they will begin to drift in their emotional connection, and they're no longer there. We're no longer here. We no longer have the same goals and dreams and ambitions like we used to. And that's very sad, okay? And, one thing that I've learned in my 13 years of marriage is that if you're not getting closer, you are drifting apart. Every day, you have to make sure that you do something that's going to cause you two to get closer. And that's the powerful part about intimacy. You never, ever stop getting closer to your spouse. You never stop knowing them. You never stop connecting with them. We are merging. Our lives are merging. And every single day, we are supposed to grow together, not grow apart. And if you're not intentional about connecting with your partner, there's only two options. You grow together or you're going to grow apart. Okay? So make that decision. This is why you don't hold grudges. This is why you don't go to sleep angry. Because every single day you do that, you're just drifting farther away, farther away. And when you don't realize it, you're going to look back and you're going to say, look at how far I've gone. I remember one time I was on the beach and I was just out in the water swimming and having some fun. And I remember the lifeguard began to blow their whistle at me. And I didn't know they were blowing it at me. I was a pretty good swimmer. And when I was younger and had more stamina, and they began to wave at me to come back. And what I didn't realize was how far I drifted from the tide where I was. And I began to go so far away that the lifeguard was getting ready to come out to the water. So I was like, this guy probably doesn't know I could swim. And I began to just swim, make my way back to the shore. And lo and behold, I looked up and I was in the exact same spot because the tide started pulling me away. And he blew his whistle again. And I realized I was in trouble. I didn't even realize that I was in trouble because the tide was getting stronger and stronger. So when I swam, the tide was still pulling me away. I was in danger. And I'm telling you, you don't even realize that you're in trouble until it's too late. If you're not conscious and intentional about staying close to home, staying close to the shore, staying connected to the love of your life. And you know what I had to do? I just put my head in the water. My feet was no longer I couldn't touch the ground. And I just had to use all of my energy to just swim until I got my toes back on the floor so I can begin to bring myself back to the shore. Okay? And that's what happens in your marriage. If you're not intentional about staying close to your partner, you will drift away emotionally, mentally, and if you're not careful, it could be too late. All right, here's the last three. Number 3, money issues. Money issues. This is a big thing today. Especially, there are so many women today who are in the workforce now, and a lot of women are making more money than men. A lot of women are more educated. They are securing high-level jobs now, boss positions. A lot of mommypreneurs. Shout out to the mompreneurs. A lot of women who are making money online. I'm telling you, women know how to make money. Women shop more, but they buy more. And I think it's amazing that we can see women arise in the area of enterprise and business. I mean, you look at the Bible and you read Proverbs 31, it talks about the virtuous woman or the virtuous wife. And guess one of the qualities of a virtuous wife is? She made her own money. So I think we should celebrate that. I think men, we need to not feel all insecure about women who are making money, that more money. I think that it's amazing. But I also know women, you can't look down upon men because you're making more money, because the job field is now have become an equal playing field on many sides. I think that now that we know that this is the truth and the reality, we got to think about how we can build partnerships without one person feeling superior or inferior, all because of money. Because at the end of the day, according to the Bible, the husband is the head of the household. The wife is the helpmeet. That doesn't have anything to do with money. It has to do with biblical and divine order. As a man being a leader, protector, priest of the home, and the woman being a helpmeet, the nurturer, the carer, the one who can turn a house into a home. Woman, that's you. So we need to work together, collaborate, and not let money wars erupt in our home. This also means, men, you don't allow a woman do all the breadwinning and the working while you're sitting at home being lazy, playing video games, and doing absolutely nothing. That is unacceptable. The Bible says that a man who does not provide for his family is worse than an unbeliever. Okay? So you have a responsibility, man, to also step up, be a leader, be a provider, be a money earner, okay? And most importantly, be present. But money issues are eating up and destroying a lot of marriages today, leading to divorce. And again, this starts with having healthy conversations, communicating around this issue. How can we work together, partner together, and collaborate together around the subject of money? Number two, which a lot of these problems all fall in this category, a lack of communication. A lack of communication. If we don't talk, if we communicate, but we don't connect and we don't hear one another's side with empathy and compassion and care, if we genuinely don't care about the other person's opinions, our relationships and our marriages will suck. And I remember my wife said this a few weeks ago, and it really made so much sense. She said, money is not the main reason why people divorce anymore. She said it's a lack of communication. She said lack of communication is the groundwork of so many issues. Again, and this is why premarital counseling is so important, and post-marital counseling is important, because all counseling does is allows a safe place for you as a husband and wife to talk about issues, to talk about things, and having multiple or another voice of wisdom and experience to come in and begin to help you go from confusion to clarity around issues in your relationship and in your marriage, right? So don't let a lack of communication ruin your marriage. And here's the final, number one reason. Drum roll, please. Infidelity. Infidelity, cheating, adultery, whatever you want to call it. The number one reason why marriages end in divorce. Now, adultery, cheating, we all know it's a sin. We know that cheating on a relationship with a person that you made a vow to, you said I do to, someone would say cheating is unforgivable. Cheating is something that you cannot repair, you cannot come back from. And that's not true either. I've seen many marriages end because of adultery and infidelity. And I've seen many marriages restored after infidelity. Did it take time? Did it take a lot of hard work and hard conversations and digging to get there? You bet it did. But it didn't mean that it had to be over. And the truth of the matter is, we need to figure out the why behind it. Why? Right? Why did this person cheat? Most affairs don't start in the bedroom. Most affairs starts with conversations. Most affairs don't start in the bedroom. It starts with a conversation. When a person begins to have conversation, which is what? Communication with another person that they feel they cannot have with their spouse, that's how most affairs start. Think about someone sliding in the DM, having conversations, secret conversations with this person that no one else knows, sneaky links, text messages, all right? A person feeling like they can share their pain and sharing their hurts with this person instead of their partner, their spouse. Those are the things that lead to infidelity, affairs, cheating. And so what you need to do is, if you feel that you are developing this emotional connection with someone through having the ability to communicate with them in a way that you cannot communicate with your spouse, cut it off, stop it now, because that is how cheating happens. All right? Let me know your thoughts about these 10 reasons why divorces happen. Okay? And if you need a counselor, you need couples therapy, I'm here to help you. You can message me. You can let me know in the link, or you can click the link in the descriptions. You can schedule a session with me. But there are also so many different great counselors out there. Get the help that you need. Your marriage does not have to end in divorce just because of one of these reasons. Okay? If you really want your marriage to work, and you want your marriage to be saved, and the both of you are willing to do what it takes, you can see heaven come into your love life. God forgave us of our sins. We ought to forgive each other of our sins. And if any man, any woman receives this forgiveness, they are a new creation. So let's believe the best, and let's begin to work together to see heaven come into our love lives this year. If this blessed you in any way, share this with a friend, share this with a coworker, share this with a family member, okay? And I'll see you in our next video. Have a blessed day.